Hey guys, welcome back. So we are getting into the conclusion of Benjamin Percy's Predator versus Black Panther. And I'm gonna tell you right now, one of these guys ain't gonna make it. So with that said, if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications. Alright, so coming back, we pick up with T'Challa, Okoye, and really what's left of the Dora Milaje and Hattusilizi, who have survived this Predator invasion thus far, where now they've all made their way to the Great Mound to stop these Predators and their leader who've come here for the vibranium. And like we saw before, when T'Challa and the others arrived, one of the Predators who they believed they'd killed had actually survived, which had then led to it reaching out to the clan leader, letting him know that the Black Panther was coming. So now within the Great Mound that the Predators have taken over at this point, T'Challa and the others believe they have the element of surprise, which they did initially, but now that opportunity's gone and they don't even know it. And it's not as if they have their communications network, because the Predators have taken that too. Because like we saw prior to this, the Predators had been to Wakanda before, and it was that left behind Yautja tech that became the advancements in technology for Wakanda on this earth, which is something that gave these invaders a huge advantage, since Wakanda's security and weapons, practically all their technology, is very familiar to their own. But at this point, before T'Challa and the others make their way in further, he lets them know that they're too exposed. So for that reason, they should head into the maintenance hatch and use that passage to descend into the main level of the mine, because otherwise they're just going to get picked off, like we saw before when the Predators first arrived. But as they head into the maintenance hatch, Achille hears something, so he goes to check it out, leaving T'Challa to believe that him and the other war dog will be following them down in the rear. But instead, this just leads to a world of trouble for the two that stayed behind, because at this point, the Yautja leader had his eyes on both of them, and they were walking right into a trap. Because when this war dog goes to look for Achille, he spots a drone watching him from above, only to then trigger a mine stationed on the tunnel wall, which soon after detonates, slicing off his limbs like a blade through water. But get this, dude is still alive. And just after this, Achille, who's getting ready to drop down the shaft after T'Challa, he comes back after hearing the war dog call for him, only to find this guy sliced up and barely breathing. So he shoots down the next drone and he rushes to him, saying, "It's okay, go with peace to your ancestors, knowing that I will avenge your death. I will kill them." Only for this huge predator foot to appear in a puddle of blood just before it's revealed that another predator is standing right over him. And it's crazy because the one who can barely talk, who's barely alive, he's about to watch his boy die before him. And it's messed up, but it wouldn't be a Predator story without moments like these. And following this, we briefly head back over to Shuri and Falcon, with Falcon recently making his way here after receiving the distress call that Shuri put out. And so at this point, with Shuri killing one of these Predators and hacking into its helmet, she's in the process of repurposing its weapons so she can put them to use. But at the same time, when it comes to Falcon, this is his first time of even hearing of Wakanda, let alone coming here. And it leads to this moment where Falcon's like, okay, let me get this straight. So you're a princess. Princess Shuri, of a kingdom called Wakanda that somehow kept itself hidden from the world and owes its wealth and power to its vast stores of vibranium, the same metal that's in Cap's shield, and you're currently being invaded by aliens? And it's kind of funny if you look at it from the perspective of, like, sure, finding out about Wakanda, that's mind-blowing enough, but to learn about this place as they're being invaded by aliens, that's next level. But he really has no choice but to believe it, because there's a Predator corpse just laying over there to the side. So for a moment here, Falcon asks Shuri how could he help, only for her to tell him to shut his American mouth for a minute so she can concentrate on what she's doing. So what ends up happening here, when Shuri's done modifying the Predator's tech, after realizing how similar it was to their own, she uses it to open the barrier so they can get back into Wakanda. So in order for this to work, she tells Falcon to grab hold of her and be the big spoon so the two of them can pass through together and only be detected as one. And it kind of catches him off guard for a moment here, but I'm just like, whoa, Falcon, relax. She said spoon, not fork. But also with Shuri noticing the magnetic drive on Falcon's suit, she asks him if it's capable of GPS jamming and if the hard-like configuration of his wings can block infrared tracking, to where in both cases the answer is yes. So Shuri lets him know that these are things that they'll need to make their way in closer. And following this, when we go back to T'Challa and his group, as they step out of the air shaft, they're greeted with a thump, and T'Challa immediately recognizes that this is the headless body of Achille. And this body was slid down here as a way of the nearby predator showing them that he knows they're down here. And right after seeing this body, T'Challa hears a recording of Achilles' voice saying, "I will kill every last one of them, I swear." which, like we saw, were his last words to the war dog. So next, T'Challa tries to warn Okoye that their cover's blown, but as soon as he does, the Dora Milaje standing right next to Okoye, her head just gets juiced by a plasma cannon. So Okoye, she just acts. She doesn't have time to mourn or even try to figure out what exactly happened. So just going off of instinct, she flips out of the way and throws her spear in the direction of where the shot came from, nailing this predator who she couldn't even see. Meanwhile, over by T'Challa, he's confronted by the predator who killed Achilles, who again is playing the recording of Achilles' voice to taunt the Panther. And this fight ends up sending the two of them falling a greater distance, which allows the Panther to flip their bodies in the air, so that the Predator will hit the stone floor first and catch the impact from their fall. But now in this part of the mine where T'Challa was helping Okoye and the others drop down into, he's now made it down here with Okoye. And now with him being in the same part of the mine with her, he sees her fighting off predators left and right, with her vibranium spear just destroying their weapons. But these guys just keep coming out from the shadows one after the other. And when one of them nearly catches Okoye from behind, T'Challa's able to get him first before this predator's able to get to her. And as soon as he does, the rest of them hold their positions, which at first has Okoye thinking maybe they're finished. But T'Challa knows this isn't that. They're obeying the commands of another. And surely enough, when they turn around, they see the Yautja clan leader standing there with the other predators at his side. And when he removes his helmet, at first, Okoye, who's just doing her job, she tells T'Challa to get behind her. But T'Challa understands that this is a challenge more than anything else, and it's a fight that he must do himself without the help of Okoye or even the full protection of his Panther suit. Because in this moment, it's like an unspoken understanding where the Yautja leader is challenging Wakanda's champion. So T'Challa gets that, and he accepts. And it's a fair match, and I mean as close as fair can be in a situation like this. Because I mean, T'Challa, he has the power of the Black Panther, and this Yautja leader has a bionic leg. But in the here and now, both of these guys are armed with vibranium spears, which evens the playing field to an extent. But even with this being the case, the Yautja leader finds himself outmatched by T'Challa, and it is definitely a skill issue. Because keep in mind, this Yautja leader who brought his clan here to take Wakanda's vibranium, not only is he smaller than your average predator, but most of his life, because of his disability, he's usually been more effective when he's had technology at his disposal. But nonetheless, with T'Challa besting him here, it hurts the Yautja leader's pride big time. So when T'Challa asks him if he yields, he responds by striking T'Challa, because in this moment, the disgrace that this Yautja leader had felt his entire life, it had come crashing down on him. So he's not going to allow his father, or any king for that matter, to humiliate him even further. And when he does this, him and the other predators, they just leave T'Challa and Okoye here. Because now with them both wounded, the Yautja leader, he orders the others to get back to the ship. Because at this point, they've already got the vibranium that they'd come for. So going forward, the plan is to continue their mission, which was for the Yautja leader to get revenge against his father and brother, which now has the addition of coming back to Wakanda at a later date stronger than ever before. But as the Yautja leader and his crew were leaving the Great Mound, they were spotted by Shuri and Falcon, who at this point don't know all the details of what was going on here. And at this time, with the Wakandan communications still being down, Shuri's not even sure if her brother's still alive. But just based on what they're seeing now with this alien ship leaving the Great Mound, to Shuri, this is a clear indication of a vibranium heist going on. So naturally, her and Falcon make it a priority to make sure that this ship doesn't leave. Because as far as they know, they are Wakanda, and better yet, the world's last line of defense. So Falcon drops off Shuri on one side of the ship, just before he flies to the other side in an attempt to create a breach, but he's not able to get through. Though on the other hand, Shuri, she's able to attach the Predator's gauntlet to the side of the ship and set the countdown for it to self-destruct, which of course leaves her in a situation to where when she lets go, she needs Falcon to swoop back around and catch her. Which he does, though at first he's just telling Shuri how he's sorry he couldn't stop them and that they were too late. But as the ship is leaving, we're told here, the Yautja could not help himself. In the reckless heat of his escape, he blasted out a message warning his brother that he was coming home to win back his honor with God metal and blood, with God metal being what they call vibranium. But as soon as he sends out this message, the bomb detonates, and as we're told, nothing survived this blast but the vibranium and the greed it originally inspired. Because after this, when we head back to the Predator King and his favored son, we're told here that they tracked the warning message that was sent their way. And with doing so, what they found claimed their full attention, because now with this amount of God metal that's just floating in space, we're told that there's enough to develop and advance their arsenal into one that would rival any in the cosmos, including Earth's, which sends off this story with a bit of a the end for now. but I can only imagine if we see these guys come back with their vibranium updates, Wakanda's gonna definitely have made some changes themselves too, in addition to their new perspective on getting outside help from other heroes across the world. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.